Hello and welcome or welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing my worst and most disappointing reads of 2023. So I have technically only 5 worst. However, I have a lot of disappointing reads. I also have a lot of DNFs. So I would typically start with my DNFs at the beginning of this video, but DNFs are going to get an entire video just dedicated to them because that's how many there are. So we're going to start with the disappointing ones. And for me, a disappointing read is like something that I probably rate like 2.75, which isn't terrible, but it's like a low 3. Like it could have been okay, but it just wasn't. So the first one is The Bride Test. This is the second book in the Kiss Quotient series, of which I loved the first and last book. And there's really just one thing that made this super disappointing because it literally just didn't make any sense. So in this book, we're following Kai. He is on the spectrum. All 3 of the books have neurodivergent rep in them. And his mother has basically sent him a bride. She finds this girl in Vietnam, sends her to live with him for a summer, doesn't run it by him, and is just hoping that the two of them hit it off. So it is a slow burn, there is a language barrier, and all of that is fine. If you don't want any spoilers for this book, I'm gonna put up a little spoiler thing and you can come back when it goes away, which will be in a few seconds. But the thing that pissed me off the most is this girl, I don't remember her name, but she's very smart. Like at the end of the book, she ends up like going to get her PhD and shit. Cool, love that for you, girl. However, you did not tell this man that you had a whole ass child in the entirety of this book, and not just like a little kid. No, this girl is like 10 years old, and literally it's like the very last chapter where he finds out about her because he physically sees her, and it's just like, yeah, this is fine. What? We don't know how Kai feels about kids. We don't know how much interaction he's had with kids. And all of a sudden, this is just totally fine. I also don't necessarily think that it was like realistic that sort of a flip just switches with him and all of a sudden he has all these feelings. And like, yeah, we knew that he was going to come to realize that he did actually love her, but the way that it happened, like literally everything just suddenly changes in like the last chapter or 2, and it did not make any sense. So love the other 2 books in the series, but this one was not it. This next one really hurt me, truly. Master of Souls by Rena Barron. This is the final book in the Kingdom of Souls trilogy. Kingdom of Souls is one of my favorite books of 2022. And unfortunately, we get to the end of this book and I genuinely felt like, what was the point of us going through everything that we went through if we were just gonna end up here? So in book 1, if you're unfamiliar, we are following ARCA. She is the daughter of 2 very powerful witch doctors, but she herself does not have any magic and she's willing to do anything to get it. Loved it. So many twists and turns in the first book, and I really, really enjoyed it. Everything that we went through, this entire journey, all of the hurt and pain and loss that we've experienced, it was for nothing. And I was just like, why did you do this to me? What was the reason? What was the point? Nothing made sense. We went through all of this shit just to end up right back where we were. It felt like a waste of time. It did. Next is Bound. This is the final book in the Spider's Mate trilogy by Tiffany Roberts. This is an spider alien romance thing. I have a drunk book review of the first book. And the first 2 books were not terrible. It was definitely weird. Took a little getting used to, but it wasn't terrible. But I was like, okay, yeah, there's supposed to be a spinoff. Whenever that comes out, I'll probably read that too. However, book 3, first and foremost, I don't like books where we're just constantly fucking traveling. And we were traveling a lot. And then it didn't need to be as long as it was. That book is like 500 something pages and it truly did not need to be. It just didn't. But also, there was like a very unrealistic situation where the main character put herself in danger for no valid reason. She didn't have to. Other people were getting ready to handle it, but you want me to believe that she did that? Be so fucking for real. And I realize that I'm saying that about an alien spider romance. However, I can only suspend my disbelief so much, okay? If you're unfamiliar, in this we're following Ivy. She wakes up on this spider alien planet and there's this spider alien dude in her face. Like, hey, you are mine. And she's like, first of all, I don't know you. Secondly, I don't know where I am. I don't even know what's going on. And then we follow their story from there. Whatever. If you want to read some alien smut, go for it. Just know that that last book is a drag. Next, I have The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This is about a wedding that takes place on a secluded island and people start dying. This book was really hyped up. I think Lucy Foley is also in general pretty hyped up, and I don't get the hype. I don't see it. I walked away from that book feeling like, one, I could have spent that time reading literally anything else, but also it's like the lesson of the story was the audacity of white men, and I don't need that in my life. I don't care. Next is Painted Devils by Margaret Owen. This one might actually be the most disappointing because Rachel had recommended Little Thieves a while ago. I started and I'm like, I'm enjoying this. I get to the end of Little Thieves and I was like, wow, this is really good. The second book I think was coming out later that week or had just come out, and I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead right into the next one because it's fresh, right? In that first book, we're following Vanya. She is a thief, but she's also the goddaughter of Death and Fortune. She's supposed to choose which one she wants to serve, but she doesn't want to choose. So she's trying to figure out how to break away from them and just be able to do her own thing. We get to Painted Devils and it's fine. There's like this new big mystery happening and it's intriguing. I don't know where it's going, but I'm like, all right, I'm along for the ride. And everything's good. I'm thinking I'm gonna rate it 4.5, just like I did Little Thieves. Oh, no. Very last chapter, very last page, this bitch pissed me off so fucking much. I said, fuck this, and I'm DNFing the series. There's supposed to be another book coming out. I don't care anymore. Vanya had so much character growth in this second book. I was like, oh my God, I am so proud of you. You are doing so well. And then she threw all that shit out the window. And the thing is, she vocalizes a solution, like actually says the solution to the problem that she's having. And instead of talking to the people around her, because she literally has this whole family now, found and otherwise, and she just threw it out the fucking window and started doing old shit. And I was just like, bitch, you cannot be this dumb. In fact, I know you're not this stupid, so I don't know why you made this choice. I can't keep going with you on this journey. I can't. Next is ARCA by G.R. McAllister. This is the second book in the 5 Queendom series. In the first book, Scorpica, which I rated 5 stars, we are following people from the different queendoms as they're experiencing what they call the drought of girls. For some reason, little girls are not being born anymore, and it's causing succession issues because who's supposed to lead the queendom when you don't have any queens? ARCA overall was just boring as fuck. And interestingly enough, it was the chapters that were specifically set in ARCA that were the most fucking boring. And then the ending didn't make a ton of sense. I really do not like resurrection or thought this person was dead, but they're back. Don't like that shit. And we got that at the very end and it didn't make sense. I was like, why are we doing this? Especially because this person is connected to that person and that person is connected to that person, but that person and this person had a thing and you know that, but it didn't make any sense. It was very disappointing. I have decided that I will read whatever the next book is going to be, but if that one's not good, I'm done. Next is Mr. Right Now. This is technically the second book in the Babes of Juneteenth series. Technically there's not an order, but there is. And this one was disappointing because the male main character was so, I got hurt one time, so I can't let anybody close to me ever again. And I'm like, bro, literally everybody around you knows that you're in love with this girl, and it's very clear that she's also into you. If you don't go to therapy and get over that shit, god damn. Still continuing the series, but he was just really fucking annoying. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Iron Flame. Listen, Fourth Wing was a fun time. We know that we went into that book for talking dragons and vibes, not logic. However, Rebecca tried to logic in this one and she fucking failed miserably. Ma'am, you cannot write this long ass book and then contradict everything that you've ever fucking told us. I mean, you did that in the first one too, but we were willing to let it slide. But now the errors are just too glaring. We can no longer look away. And you wanted to add 50,000 twists, and half of them didn't make sense. If you've seen Robin's worst of the year, then you know that she is going on a tirade about Jack Barlow and Jack Barlow Jr., which is fair, because why did you do that? But man, it's so bad. Also, this is the longest book that I read in 2023. This book does not need to be this motherfucking long. I really need to stop trying to play with fantasy romance, because it's not my thing. And I know that. I do. The Talking Dragons got me the first time, but then this time around, oh my gosh, it was just annoying. I decided to DNF this series. I told my friends that if they read it, they could just tell me what happens. I refuse to put myself through any more torture. Next is Mr. Musician. This is book maybe 4 in the Mr. series by B. Love. You know what's crazy? Books in the Mr. series have ended up on my worst, most disappointing, and DNFs. It's only like 5 books, or is it 6? I don't know, but that's a lot. If you're wondering why, just know that I'm gonna keep reading. I have to know. But anywho, Mr. Musician. This one is about Saint. He is a rapper, and I didn't like this one because toxic relationships, man. Saint's wife is also like his manager or whatever, and she fucked him over by like basically signing away all of his music, all of his royalties and stuff to herself. And so like he has nothing, and he's been wanting to divorce her, but she's like, I'm never gonna let you do that. And she's like, if you leave me, I take everything from you. You have nothing. You can't make any more music, nothing. Like, it's all in contracts that he signed, believing that his wife and former best friend would never steer him wrong. And so we're watching him sort of come to a crossroads. Like, do I want to stay in this loveless marriage? Ignore the car. Do I want to stay in this loveless marriage, or do I want my freedom? And it's a ride. I mean, the whole series is a ride, but this one is a ride, man. Yeah. Next is Ice Planet Barbarians. I forced Robin to read this with me, and do I regret inflicting this on her? No. Do I regret reading it myself? I just don't see the hype. I mean, if you want to read some alien smut shit, read the Spider's Mate trilogy. Is better smut out there, I promise you. But also, I feel like this one is just so hyped up, and I'm just like, it's not that good. It's not that good. Also, be aware of the sexual assault that happens in chapter 1. It is no longer in the ebook, but it is still in the audiobook, and it is very disturbing. And no one ever fucking talks about that, which is weird. Y'all gotta do better. And then the last of my most disappointing reads is The Delay by Danielle Allen. This is the 3rd book in her Hot Holiday Hookup series. It is a Juneteenth romance about 2 people that meet on a plane, and their plane is delayed. It was just like very insta-lusty, which I don't love. I don't like insta anything, really. And I get that it's a novella, but there are other ones in this series where the connection is more genuine. And so, I don't know, there was something about this one that I just did not like. I also don't really like holiday romances, I'm learning, so there's that. Now moving on to my worst books of the year. These are books that I rated 2.5 stars or less. I have 5 of them, starting with, oh, look at that, Reaper of Souls. I thought I read that last year. Nope, that was this year. Damn, that hurts. It was disappointing on so many levels. But my biggest issue is that there's like this thing that we're doing over and over again, and we're like, why are we doing this over and over again? Like, if you're gonna do it like one time and make it good. Maybe trick us a second time. But when it comes to the 3rd and 4th, that's too much. Cut it out. No. This one's sad. The next one is Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is her first adult book, and I just did not care. I feel like it's interesting with the gathering of family history and following the day-to-day of this intergenerational family, along with the fact that the relative who has the ability to know when someone is going to die and is suddenly throwing herself a living wake. Like, that is very intriguing. However, one, it felt super long. Two, I felt like we were taking forever to get to where we were going, because obviously there's so much buildup in the beginning, and then it's like 5 days away, and then you're like reading like 7 chapters, and then we're 4 days away, and I'm just like, can we please just get to where we're going? And I get at the ending, I get the point of what was happening and why that happened at the same time that this other thing happened. But getting there was just not, it just didn't work for me. The journey didn't work for me. I know a lot of people really love that one, and great, but I don't. Next is Slow News Day. This is actually the first book in the Hot Holiday Hookup series. It is a Groundhog's Day romance. The relationship and the chemistry of the characters didn't work or make sense for me, because they're friends and colleagues, and there's, I guess, supposed to be like this sexual tension between them that's always been there, and then they finally break it, but I didn't feel it. It just felt like he was constantly saying like really inappropriate things, and I was just like, this is weird. Like, I'm uncomfortable. That's just how I felt about it. I'm sure other people would feel differently, but that's just me. Then we have Mr. Jeweler. This is the 3rd book in the Mr. series, and this one was toxic as fuck too. And if you thought that Mr. Musician was bad, Mr. Jeweler is 10 times worse, because there's cheating and lies and deception, and everything's connected. It's bad. It's so bad. It's so bad, and I don't want to say anything because I don't want to give it away, but it's really bad. It's so bad, and the way that these people are all connected to each other. Yeah. And the last one that I have is Animal 5 Executioner's Song. This one also felt unnecessarily long, but more importantly, it didn't fucking make sense. Because if we know that this person has stabbed us in the back and is not trustworthy, why are we trusting them and risking our lives for them? And why did this plot get drawn out over 2 books when in every other book we have a conclusion for whatever problem we're dealing with by the end of it? And on top of that, the freaking epilogue made 0 sense, because you're telling me that this thing isn't true. However, I already know it's true, because we talked about it at the end of the last book and the beginning of this one. Now you're telling me that it's not true. So then you're forcing me to believe that this other thing also isn't true, but that doesn't make sense. Because if that were the case, then the epilogue wouldn't have happened the way that it did. Also, you introduced a new character in the fucking epilogue. Who does that? We didn't know this motherfucker existed for 5 books. And now here he is. The hell? So, those are my worst and most disappointing books of 2023. It was a ride. Next, I'll be talking about all of my DNFs of 2023, and I believe there are 22 of them. That's the highest I've ever had in a year, so that'll be the next video. But let me know if you have read any of these or if they were on your TBR. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.